actually going to start early. Unprecedented. Your town is awesome that we were able to start early. It will be our first ever, and we've worked together for 12 years, so kudos to you guys. So thank you all for coming. This is a lot of people here, and it just shows how much this issue is impacting so many people from so many walks of life. So I wanted to first do a couple of introductions, tell you a little about what we're going to do this afternoon, and then we'll be underway. So Erin needs no introduction. You all know her. She is an environmental advocate and has been speaking daily. She's been speaking on behalf of communities like yours. Sadly, they're all around the country for decades. And one of the amazing things about Erin is she actually cares about every single person in this room. And by coming here, she raises the visibility of what's happening to you. So thank you, Erin, for coming today. It was a beautiful drive here, so it was lovely. So thank you for having us. This is my colleague, Jaxie Bilsborough. He and Will Walsh, who's taking pictures of you guys, which he won't post anywhere, just for our purposes. They're both in our unit. We have a unit at our firm, Weitz Luxenberg, which is an environmental protection unit, and we have been doing water protection work basically since its inception. Our unit was started on water contamination. So we are familiar, sadly, with how people's drinking water gets contaminated from chemicals. So we also have two paralegals here. I think they might still be outside. It's Theo Gifford and Tyler, and they are Tyler Gardner, and they're some of the people who signed you in, and they'll be talking to many of you along the way. So as I mentioned before, we have a sign-in sheet for the sole purpose of being able to communicate with you along the way. If you want to get communication from us as we learn things, when we get documents, when we learn things that are in the public domain, or that are public, that we are allowed to send around, we will share that with you. So if you want that kind of update from us, make sure you give your email address. And that's how we typically can quickly get in touch with you all. So also, I want to thank the college for letting us use their facility today. First of all, this is beautiful. I think it's the nicest facility I've ever done a community meeting in. It's really nice, and thank you all for letting us be here today. And for those of you who wanted to be in New York and not Vermont, so it's right across the state line anyway, and we couldn't find a facility closer, but honestly, now that I see this, I'm sorry, we may ask you a second time. It's really beautiful, so thank you for letting us be here today. Okay, so we've heard from a lot of you already, so many of you in the room, or many of your community members have already contacted us about the concern of your drinking water with PFOA. I have still not learned how to say what PFOA, I know what it is, but I'm going to make a mistake. So I either call it PFOA or C8, which are the two common ways this chemical is used, or Teflon. That's how we all know this. It's a human-made chemical. It does not naturally occur. So if it's in your water, it's in your water from industry. It's not in your water from anything that derives from nature. We understand the concern you all have. This is, for many of you, new information, and it's scary, it's frightening, it's concerning. You all need information, you all need answers, and one of the things we're going to do here today is we're going to try to answer some of your questions. A lot of them we won't know the answers to yet, right? So we're new to this too. We've all sort of learned about this together. We can give you experiences of how we've done these cases in the past. We can tell you what we know so far, and we can tell you what we intend to do going forward. But one of the reasons why these meetings are so important to us is when we come here, we do our jobs better, because a lot of today is going to be question and answer. So we have mics, we're going to walk around the room, and when we hear from you, we will learn so much more than we'll learn anywhere else about what you're experiencing. And so really, we want to save most of today for that purpose. Let me tell you a little bit about how we're going to proceed today. Erin is going to go first because she gets everybody engaged in ways that no one else can. And then my colleagues and I will talk a little bit about what litigation is and how we think that something like this kind of case would proceed. And then we will really send the mic around the room and hear what your concerns are, hear your questions, and that's maybe the best way to really learn what a lawsuit would be all about, what you can imagine happening over the next weeks and months, and sadly years as you move forward. So one last thing I want to mention, we'll mention again at the end of the meeting, two things actually. So I don't think this will happen, but you never know. Sometimes when companies find out they've polluted an area, they'll come to your house and they'll knock on your door. They'll have someone on behalf of the company knock on your door and say, I know that you're concerned about your water, and we've been an inconvenience, and we're very sorry, and we want to be a good neighbor. And they'll have a check in their hand, and they'll ask you, they'll say, here's a check for the inconvenience we've caused you. And I call them good neighbor payments, and they'll ask you to sign something. And that signing is typically a release that would release your claims. I'm not saying, no one's told us it's happened here. I don't want to tell you it has, because it hasn't, at least no one's told us. But it has happened in other cases we've had, and it has happened with other cases we've had with someone, with a company that may be responsible here. I'm not going to name out any company now, but the bottom line is if someone knocks on your door like that and wants to hand you a check in exchange for you signing something, I would advise you to talk. You can call us, which would be great because we'd like to know about it, or you can call a friend or an attorney, but just be careful before you sign anything from someone you don't know. I really encourage you to be careful about that. The last thing, which we'll talk about some more, is if you're a person who wants to join a lawsuit, we have to have what's called an agreement. It's called a retainer agreement. We don't hand them out at the beginning because you may not want one. So we want to hand it to you if you don't want one, but if you do, we'll talk more about it when we all are talking about what a lawsuit's all about, and we'll have them when you walk out of the room, and you can always get them on the website. There's lots of different ways. So without further ado, Erin?
I always feel strange when I come to communities and I say it's so nice to meet you when it's under difficult circumstances. However, it is nice to meet you. I know it's difficult circumstances. People were asking me when I drove into town, and we went to the diner, and we went to the facility of concern, and we went down to where the wells are and the trails and walked along the river and the drive up. And how I feel is beauty and sadness at the same time. Isn't that strange? It's very beautiful here, nature of the countryside. I know the people are very beautiful, and it's very sad what it is that you're going through. It frustrates me not only because of what you're experiencing in your own backyard, but it frustrates me because this is happening across this nation right now. And it's very frustrating to see the fallout of our water supply, which is the most important thing to every single one of us. It is what sustains our life. And I will tell you, being here today, I know that there's going to be frustrations. There's going to be frustrations with local government. There's going to be frustrations with the state. There's going to be frustrations with who knew what. I can tell you that every single day I am very frustrated with the EPA and the failure of the system. The system is broke. But I will also tell you that there's plenty of blame to go around. But what is most important is I don't want what's happened to you, what's happened to our water supply, to become some political issue. There's no room for political issues. It doesn't matter what your party affiliation is. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It does not matter whether you're rich or poor. Water is every single one of our rights, and you are entitled at every level to have safe and pure water available to you and your families at all times. And that's where I want us to stay. So having said that, I learned, I'm not here today to just talk to you. I'm here to learn from you. When situations happen like it has here in Hassock Falls, oftentimes people will begin to report to me. This has probably been going on for a while. This did not just happen yesterday. We will begin to find out answers. But what's most important is now you know. I've always said communities can handle the truth. Not being transparent with them is the worst thing that we can do. Now that you are all here today, and you can see each other today, I feel hopeful for you today, because now you know. Now you will begin to find out information about what it is that's in your water, what you've been exposed to, potentially the length of time. But now, with information, you are armed and you can make better choices that will protect you and your family. And that is the best gift you have. So while you may now know the truth is empowering. And this community, collectively, as you start to stand together, that is where your biggest change will come. I've done this, oh my gosh, I do not want to date myself. I think for 22 years. I'm now 55 years old and a grandmother of 3. And this has just been my life's work. And I've had such a new surge about me and the importance of it. You know, people will say to me, well, you've reached your legacy. Well, I haven't. My legacy is my little grandchildren, Grace and Molly and Charles, and my deep concern about what it is we're leaving to them. And every community I've been in, when I see them get together, that's when things begin to change and being united. And this is the most important message that I will share with all of you today. And communities, oftentimes, I feel bad when I tell them this, but I think you all already know. See, Superman's not coming. I'm not sure what's happened to us, or it's been community by community, whether we've been hibernating, whether we've been lulled into a false sense of security. Because we want to believe people in place are there to protect us. And it's very hurtful when we find out that they haven't been. I found in my line of work there's a number of reasons why they're absent. It can be fear, somebody's made a mistake, they don't want to talk about it, it gets covered up. It can be greed. It can be communities that are in bankruptcy and they try to save a buck and then it caused something to go wrong with the water. It could be that they're going to do something different because there's going to be more profit for them. And it's good when we all start to wake up and realize that we have a voice. I will tell you who I will vote for and bank on every single time to turn things around, and it will be we the people, it will be you the people of this community. When you get together and you start being actively involved and getting involved, whether it be with your mayor or going to your city council and asking questions and demanding answers and taking charge again of your backyard, your town, your water, your health, by God, you will make a difference and you can begin to move forward with the information and getting yourself clean water, making choices, protect your health. That is going to be my message to you today, and you are going to be able to do that. And you're proof to me because you are all here today. So I could stand up here and talk to you for a while. And like I said, we're here to learn from you. I know you're going to have many questions. We're going to answer them the best you can. I know everybody's going to have a lot of legal questions. They're going to have a lot of questions about property. We're going to have a lot of questions about health. Most importantly, we're going to begin to learn a whole lot about you. So the most important thing today, and I know Robin will come up next, is please do not be shy. Don't hesitate to ever interrupt me. Ask a question, raise your hand. I want a good, open, honest conversation about what's happening with you so we can better figure out the steps we need to take to help you. So I'll be back up, but I'm going to stop right there so Robin can come up and talk for a little bit. But again, I want to open this up and I want to hear from you. Oftentimes we will learn a great deal of information as the community comes together and starts to be united, and let's hear from you.
This is BNN, the Bennington News Network.